Welcome back. Hope you're having a good morning. Well, for starters, global cues are not very positive, and that explains why the gift Nifty is suggesting we open up gap down with a cut of around 200 points odd. But plenty of stocks to discuss. And help us out with some analysis, we're joined by Hemang Jani. Hi, Hemang. Good morning and good to see you win. Well, let's talk about a couple of big winners yesterday. ONGC as well as Oil India, they did pretty well on the back of the spike that we saw in crude oil prices. And these geopolitical tensions as well could take out some part of the supply. But this morning, we wake up to news that there's been a revision in the windfall tax higher, and that's what could hurt them. Your view on these names?
Yeah, good morning, Nigel. I think, in a scenario where you have this kind of uncertainty due to geopolitical issues, people tend to hide into, some of the oil and gas names, and which is what we saw, Oil India, ONGC, and of course, the metal fact. I think, given that the scenario is not looking so good in terms of resolution and the fact that the prices may continue to remain high despite the windfall gain tax, which has been high, I do think that there is a case for some more strength into the names like ONGC and Oil India. So I think, 5 to 10% upside as a tactical opportunity will be a good play, but we will have to be a little watchful because of the fact that some upside has already been seen in the last couple of days.
Hemang, hi, good morning. I wanted your thoughts on Varun Beverages. The stock has given great returns to investors, but now this morning it's once again on the radar after Morgan Stanley has initiated coverage. They have a price target of 1,700 on the stock. Is it worth buying despite the kind of rally we've already seen?
So Sonia, good morning. I think this has been one of the best performing mid-cap stocks, in the last 2 years. And I think this is one of the companies which is delivering in terms of high volume growth, somewhere close to about 20% with incremental triggers in terms of the recent acquisition in South Africa and the new product launches which they have done. So I think from a core, portfolio investment perspective, this is a great name. It's a name which is trading at 75 next year forward PE. So not cheap, but I think it's been consistently delivering. So good to have it. Maybe if it corrects on a bad day, it will be a great time to enter.
No, I've got that. By the way, for some Hemang. For metal stocks, basically actually resource companies, Hindalco, Hindustan Zinc, and Vedanta, etc. All of them had actually pretty sharp reversals from highs. Do you think, at least in the very near term, they're overbought?
I think, Prashant, even the way the prices have spiked and the latest news of some countries banning the Russian export, I think that has led to further flare-up. So I think purely from a technical point of view, Hindalco, Nalco, Vedanta are better placed, though they have kind of run up in the last few days. But I think even the quarterly numbers for some of the names like Nalco, Hindalco would be quite good. So it would be good to have them as maybe a tactical kind of opportunity. I'm not too sure from a 6 to 12 month perspective how they are going to pan out. But surely I think Vedanta also is, both the base battle play, as that theme, it is looking quite interesting.
Okay, all right. Hemang, what about Interglobe Aviation? That one has obviously been enjoying almost a monopoly in the market. It's been holding its market share with more than 60%. And investors have been bidding up the stock. The problem now is that input costs have spiked up as well. The fares are still, they're surging. I'm traveling tomorrow as well. In fact, paying a big buck for tickets. How do you approach the stock? It's not cheap any longer, but if you want to play aviation, that's the only name. Your take at these prices?
By far the best aviation, company that we have seen here, and it has actually gone different crude oil cycles in the last few years and has actually demonstrated its ability to deal with that. And given the fact that we are in for a period where the traffic growth is going to be extremely strong, I think they are extremely well positioned. The stock has actually done well. It's now correcting a bit. But I think from a core portfolio, holding perspective, this is the best choice that we have. And given the recent developments where Vistara, has cancelled many flights, and if oil remains high, then the smaller players will have a more difficult times. So I think Indigo would be surely a better bet to.
Just a few stocks which moved pretty sharply yesterday. By the way, the advance decline was 4:1 yesterday in favor of declines. Declines outnumbered advances 4:1. But if you add one more element, which is volumes, to what went up and what went down, it was a different picture because what went up had a lot more volume as compared to what went down, where, the big volume traded names, it was a short list really as opposed to what was up. Senco, if you can sort of comment, Hemang, had a big 16-17% move yesterday. Aster DM is another one, hospital chain, largely out of the South. Kerala is a big, strong market. We had the management with us as well. They want to go to 10,000 beds. They're under 5,000 beds right now. But this is, of course, in the next 5 years. Just your thoughts on these two names.
And I think Sanco came out with a very strong business update, about 24% kind of a growth and much cheaper compared to some of the existing players. So I think people do like, this kind of franchise, which is relatively attractive, delivering good growth. And I think they have carried out a very decent expansion in the recent months. So I think from a valuation perspective and delivery both, Sanco is looking quite good. Aster DM, I think, regional focused healthcare play. Healthcare has seen a very smart bounce back post Supreme Court directive. And we think that, you will see a decent amount of growth coming from regional plays as well as the pan-India players like Max, Apollo, etc. Max is something that we've been liking. And still, apart from the good numbers, I think the dividend payout is something that the market really liked. So I think both companies we have a positive view.
Okay, two more stocks for you. Any of them worth buying from a longer term perspective? Let me know. Geo Financial Services, there's a 50-50 JV that they've signed up with BlackRock for wealth management and brokerage business in India. And Bharti Hexacom, right? Jefferies has initiated coverage with a buy. They have a target price of 1,080. Any of these stocks that you like for the long term?
So, Geo Finance, we've been liking. The only thing is that the stock has run up quite a lot, more so after the Paytm debacle. And you're seeing incremental news flow in terms of the foray into wealth management and brokerage, etc. So I think we like the team, the product tech that they have built. But I think it would be good to kind of wait for a bad day to enter into it, given the very high valuations at which it is trading at. Bharti Hexacom we don't cover Sonia at this point, so no real view from my side.
Any view on transformers and rectifiers, Hemang? The stock, I'm looking at it in the last 1 month, it's up more than 50%. It came out with a set of numbers. From there as well, it's seen a big rally. Sometimes you get a little bit sketchy on, what the street is pricing in. It's $1 billion in terms of market cap. And the news that we have is that it's got, Getco. They have withdrawn the stop deal with immediate effect. So now the company can supply to Getco. Any view on this name?
Throughout numbers, Nigel, I think all-time high top line, operating profit, net profit. More importantly, if you see the operating profit margin, there is a 576 basis point, increase. The new capacity will be operational by December 24, about 120,000 MVA. So looks to be a great set of numbers. The stock has run up, as you rightly said. So I would be comfortable buying these kind of companies in two parts. One maybe now and one should have some dry powder to kind of add to any correction that we may see over the next few days.
Hemang, on Thursday you have some big numbers coming through. There is Bajaj Auto, there's Infosys, there's HDFC Life, and a couple of other smaller ones as well, like Mastech. Anything that excites you from a long-term investor standpoint?
Sonia, I think Bajaj Auto and Maruti Suzuki, these are the two names where we expect very strong set of numbers. In case of Maruti, the growth in profit would be about 20%. And Bajaj Auto also, we are looking at about 12% kind of a growth. And we think that the sector as a whole, this entire quarterly season, auto and banks and financials are going to be the two pockets where you will see a very strong growth. So we have a positive view on both these names.